Hey, good morning. You are watching the podcast Nail the Numbers. Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to another episode of Nail the Numbers podcast, where we are talking about ways that you as a home service industry company can increase your profits, make more money, and really know, understand, and trust your numbers. I know at the end of the day, you went into business to make money, so let's make sure that is what you are doing. My name is Kerry Postal. I have the privilege of being your host today and also the owner and founder of Abacus Business Solutions, where we work with numerous clients, helping them to do just that, helping them to grow their business, helping them to increase their profitability. And so we want to help you to be able to do that as well. If you're listening on Spotify, then thanks for joining us. Don't forget, you can follow all our other podcasts as well that we have done recently. And if you're watching us on any of our social media platforms, then thanks for watching us live. I know it's early, but hey, why not listen to a podcast before the day gets going and get some information that can help you to really take your business to the next level. Okay, so today we are going to talk about job costing. I know that's a phrase that a lot of people don't like to talk about. It's a phrase that just kind of, creates stress, overwhelm, and I totally get that. So I wanted to just try and help to, break that down a little bit for you today so that way it's not a stress and you realize what a huge, important, critical tool it is to the success of your business. So let's not talk about job costing. Let's not call it that. Let's talk about or think about it in the way of how much money are you making or losing on every job that you do? That's the other way to think about it. So don't get caught up in all of that. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Job costing is so time consuming, it's expensive. Think about it along the lines of, how do I know I'm making money on every single job? How do I know I'm making enough money on every job? How do I know if maybe I'm losing money on these jobs and I don't realize that my pricing isn't where it needs to be and I need to do something about it to be able to get that profitability back in my business? So let's look at it from that way rather than thinking about this phrase job costing. So we're not going to use that term anymore. I may drop it in by accident just because I'm used to using it, but let's try and just focus on, am I making money on these jobs? And if so, how much? And is that enough? So like I said, it's a really, really important aspect of your business. It's like that secret ingredient to a magic recipe. So I don't want you to think of this as being a really, really major big deal, but I do want you to think about it as being critical to the success of your business. You want to make money. And in that case, it needs to be making sure that those services that you're providing, the installs you're doing, the repairs you're doing, are making money. That's how it all flows through. So what do we mean by tracking that profitability? It's a case of knowing how much money you are spending on every single job, whether that's parts, materials, and labor of your team, and plus the loaded factor on that as well. So it's not just what the hourly rate is, but you've got the government taxes as well. Maybe there's benefits. You've got to make sure all of that is being covered. Maybe there's tools that you have to rent to do a particular job, making sure that you're tracking all of that as well, and the cost of that tool, if it's being used on 3 different jobs, that third of that cost then gets attributed to that individual job. So by knowing all of this information, by knowing how much time your crew are spending on jobs and how much it's costing you for them to be on that job, how much every single part and material cost, how much equipment rental cost, you got to start thinking also about your vehicles and everything. If you've got vehicles going out on jobs and trailers, there is a cost that goes with that as well. So you've got to make sure that you have all of that. And I'm not saying that you have to charge this much for this truck. That's where you can start looking at percentages and just knowing, like, okay, whatever my job cost is going to be on this particular project, then I'm going to add this percentage that then covers those aspects as well. So why is this so important? Why is this something that I'm passionate about, that I want to make sure that you understand how important it is? So firstly, it's about knowing your true costs. If you don't know how much it is really costing you as a company to do this particular job, then you might end up losing money without even realizing it. So it helps you to see the true cost of that job. So you want to make sure that you're charging enough. So you want to make sure that, if you have charged X number of dollars, that you are making more than that. Also, if something comes up where, a customer adds a certain, another aspect to the job, or something comes up that, you didn't find that then required additional repairs or different install, whatever it might be, you need to make sure that you're aware of that. You don't just go do that extra work and then realize, like, oh my gosh, that cost me an extra $500 and I didn't even charge for that. That just ate into your profit. That's just $500 of your profit gone. So, as I've said before, I'm kind of very blunt and direct on these podcasts and my training. That's because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I understand and I know the importance of doing this. So, if I come across a little bit blunt, then that's just who I am. I want you to understand this is so important for your business. Okay. And at the end of the day, let's just be black and white. Let's be honest with each other. There's no point trying to make something, look all rosy and just, it's important. So let's make sure that we address that. Okay, so first thing was knowing your true cost. Second thing is setting the right prices. So once you know how much a job is going to cost you, then you can set how much the customer needs to pay you for it. It sounds simple enough, but if you're just plucking numbers out of the air, then you're just really hoping that you have made the right choice, that you picked the right number, and that you are going to make money on that. So you want to make sure that your price that you're being charged covers every single cost, but it also has a portion in there for your overhead and then a portion in there for your profit as well. So it's not just a case of, oh, I think this is going to cost me about $2,000. Okay, I'm going to charge the client $2,500. How do you know that's enough? You have to understand it. It's a process. It's a calculation that you have to make that, okay, this is how much it's going to cost. This is my percentage to cover my overhead. This is my percentage for my profit. That way you can make sure you're getting paid. Everybody, and your admin team are getting paid. Your rent's getting paid. All of those additional expenses that are there, regardless of how much work you do, are being covered. And then to have profit at the end of the job as well. So when you know how much a job is going to cost you, it then helps you to set the right price for it as well. So another one is finding ways to save money. So when you are tracking all of your costs, it can really help you to see how much every aspect of that job is costing. And then you might realize, you know what? We need to be able to find that part cheaper. We need to find that material cheaper. We need to start looking around. We need to maybe ask our current vendor for a discount, particularly if you're doing a high volume of purchases from them. So you want to, it will just really help you to see every little aspect that goes into a job. And you may not realize how much that actually ends up costing you. So this way, it helps you just be aware of every single line item in that job, what the cost was to the business, and then making you think, okay, how can I get that cost down? What can I do different? Do I need to maybe buy in bulk? So that way, I'm getting a better price when I purchase it, that then, helps me to increase my profitability. Whatever it might be, you're going to be able to just really, really dig down and see where you can save money as well. So another reason, and you might think this is a bit of a strange one, but when you know your job costs, it can make your customers happy. Because when you understand your costs, you can explain why your price is what it is to your customers, because you're going to have that confidence as you're talking. You're going to make, you're going to be just certain, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me. This is how much it's going to cost the customer. And you're not there kind of like, it should be around $3,000. I don't know about you, but if somebody says to me, it should be around $3,000, that makes me really nervous, because it makes me think they don't really know how much this is going to cost me. Now, obviously, in construction and home service industry, we all understand that things change, things come up. Once you start on a project, you uncover something that was not visible before the project, that you would have no idea that was going to be an issue, that was going to require additional work or additional repair. But if you are able to at least go in with your initial price, that confident, yep, this job will be $3,000. And if then anybody's got any kickback, you can really talk confidently into that, because that's your number. That's where you need to be in order to make money on this job. And so when those customers, feel that confidence from you, that gives them confidence that you know what you're doing. You're not just plucking numbers out of the air. They don't feel then that they're overpaying you, and then they're more likely to call you back again. And then finally, plan for the future is another way that tracking your costs is going to help you. When you know how your jobs are costing out, that'll help you to be able to look down the road. So like, okay, right, we're going to need to buy, these tools in the future because this particular tool is costing us money now because it keeps breaking down, or whatever it might be, because you're going to be getting that feedback, from your team. It's going to maybe, like we talked a little bit earlier about talking in, you're buying about, sorry, getting my words muddled up, about buying in bulk as well. When you're looking for certain parts, certain materials that are used on the majority of your jobs. So it just really helps you to look forward. And when you just see how much you're spending in different areas, you can plan in a better way, plan in a way that you're using data to make those future decisions rather than just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. So how do we track our costs? What is it that we do? So it's not a case of like, okay, you just got to jump straight in with both feet and you have to track every single job that you're doing. So whether you're a small company starting out, whether you're a company that's been around for a few years, whatever it might be, you don't have to go all in and track costs on every single job. Pick one job to start with. Just pick one job and start writing down all the costs for that job. How much do the parts cost, the materials cost, the supplies cost? How long did it take? How many crew members did you have on there? What are their hourly rates? All of that information as well is what you need to sort of take into account. So once you've got all that information, then you can say, okay, this is how much it cost me to do this job. Okay, this is how much I sold it to the customer for. Okay, what's the difference there? Is it enough? Is it a number that makes you feel good? Or is it a number like, oh my gosh, I can't stay in business if I keep making these kinds of money? So I really want you to think about, how everything pulls in together. So I want you to think about every single cost that goes into that, every single little part. And it might be a case that you can't put a number right to it right away, but at least if you have a list of everything that went into that job, then you can sit down and then calculate what that would be like. And then you're going to start figuring out ways to make that tracking easier. So then when you've got one job that you're tracking, like, okay, this is easier than I thought. Then look at the next two jobs that you have coming up and be like, okay, you get your team on board, explain to them why you're doing this, the difference it's going to have on the business. What kind of impact is it going to have on the business? Is it going to have on them? And you're just going to be able to then, go through and start tracking two jobs and seeing how those come out. And then you're going to start realizing, maybe not, like, okay, I'm not charging enough. I really, really thought I was, but I'm not. So I've got to do something about this. I need to increase my job cost. So I need to increase my prices to my customers. These costs are coming in a lot higher than I thought they were. Or I didn't think about this particular material that was going to be needed that adds up really quickly. There are also different apps and stuff and software that can help you with that as well. So don't feel you have to do it all on pen and paper. Sometimes that's just the easiest way to start out, is just to write it all down or put it into a spreadsheet. But I don't recommend you doing that long term, because that's going to drive you crazy if you're having to track every single cost like that. Software like QuickBooks Online helps you do all of that. They have a great project section that every single invoice can be allocated to whichever project it was there. And then it creates a little mini profit and loss for that job. Shows you how much the customer paid you, shows all your costs that you had on that job, and then shows you how much money you made on the job at the end. So the first step, as always, is just make that decision that you're going to track the costs on that job. You're going to write down every single little expense that went out and figure out how much money did you make on that job. And that's probably going to motivate you then to want to do that on other jobs as well. Because one, if you're making a loss, then you're going to want to make sure you know about that on all those other jobs as well. Two, if you're making profit, that's going to feel really good. And that's going to make you want to then keep tracking the costs on the other jobs so that you can keep seeing how much profit you're making on these jobs as well. So that's it. That's your secret tool to making your business super successful and to do great and to help you grow that business to the next level. You can only grow if you are making money. If you're profitable on your jobs, then you can keep growing your business to the next level. By understanding your costs, that enables you to set the right prices, enables you to make sure you're making money, keeps your customers happy, and it helps you to plan for an awesome future and to really grow your business to the next level as well. So threw a lot of information at you there right now. So if this is something that totally overwhelms you or stresses you out, then you don't have to be alone going through this. If this is something that you need to incorporate into your business, but you really don't know where to start, then reach out to me. You can go to our website, constructionprofitfirst.com, fill out the form on the contact page, And then I will be reaching out to you. We can schedule a time to jump on a Zoom call and let's talk. Let's see, what do you have going on? What is it that we need to get in place to enable you to, get that cost tracking in place? Maybe it's getting QuickBooks set up. Maybe it's getting your QuickBooks up to date. Whatever it might be, let's just talk about it. There's no pressure. I'm not a high pressure salesperson. That's just not me. Let us just talk about how we can help you grow your business, how we can help you to understand what your numbers are telling you, and what is it that you need to do to increase that profitability, and to maybe not losing money, whatever your situation might be. And like I say to every prospective client, I've always seen worse books, so don't be embarrassed about it. The biggest step you can make is the first step to admit, okay, I need help on this. You're not an accounting professional. That's what I say to my current clients as well. It's like, if you were an accounting professional, you'd have an accounting business, but you don't. You have a home service industry business because you're a certified plumber, electrician. That's where your area of expertise lies. And believe me, if I need an electrician, I'm not doing that myself. I'm not Googling it. I'm not YouTubing it. I'm calling somebody to come and do that. And so it's the same way that, you're the expert in your business in the area of the work that you do, and then we're the experts in our business. So let's just work together. Let's talk and see how we can help you. So I want to see you succeed. I want to see you to grow your business. And I know that's why you do as well, because after all, that is why you started your business. You didn't start your business just because you had nothing else to do. You started your business because you wanted to make money. So jump on my website, constructionprofitfirst.com, go to the contact page, fill out the form, and let's have a conversation. You got nothing to lose.